Hello, this video is the start of Sun conjunction. So, as you know, Sun is like our soul, our personality, our vitality, ego, confidence, rules. Well, it's the significator for father in our chart, and our leaders, our bosses, politicians, government, royalty. Sun rules Leo, and it's the natural fifth house of the zodiac. So it's a very creative planet too. So we create children, we create art, we create like nice environments to live. So all of those things are to do with the sun. Sun, obviously, the fifth house of the natural zodiac. Sun also, because of Leo, rules the heart chakra. Heart chakra, the physical heart. I always think that Cancer is the emotional heart, and Leo is the physical. So it's about romance, love, and through which we actually create children. It's also entertainment. All those wonderful things are to do with Leo. Well, fifth house naturally as well. So and wherever sun sits in your chart is where you get the respect and you shine in your life. So if it's in your 11th house, you shine amongst your networks. If it's your say for example, fourth house, your mother shines. She's a formidable force. So that's how you see things. Sun is most uncomfortable in the 12th house because this 12th house is a natural house of moksha, and it's also a very, very secretive house. It's all about things that are really hidden. So that's probably where I'll see Sun the weakest, even though it's debilitated in the 7th house of natural zodiac, which is Libra. So in the 7th house, whether it's Libra or not, it's kind of like feels a little bit out of control because feels weak actually. So it's probably got less ego attached to it actually. That's how I would say. It's because the king, sun is the king, the leader, the boss. So therefore, like Libra, which is the 7th house of the natural zodiac, is how we interact with others. We just self-sacrifice in order to get on with other people, be harmonious. Whereas the sun, you know, the royalty, the king, the prime minister, the president, they don't want to be getting, you know, they don't necessarily care about getting on with other people. They just want to do the job, if you like. So therefore, it's most uncomfortable there. But to me, a 12th house sun, it has got quite a lot of things attached to it. That's how I've been taught, you know. So, and it gets directional strength, which means that he's got the most amount of focus in the 10th house of natural zodiac, which will be Capricorn. Now, because obviously it's the boss. Once, you know, a Capricorn is like institutions, it's the government, all that kind of stuff. So it naturally wants to shine. Now, this also, you will find people who have got sun in Capricorn, even if it's not the 10th house, they naturally want to shine. They're naturally bossy. They can't help it. That's just the way it is. So if amongst your friends you have got somebody who has that, even if it's in the 4th house, the 3rd house, the 1st house, whatever it is, it naturally is a little bit like they're bossy, you know, that's just the way it is. So now, obviously, Sun is friendly with the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Mercury, and very, very big enemies of Venus and Saturn. So those of you who have seen the videos of those conjunctions, you know, they're quite difficult. You probably experienced that in your life. And obviously the nodes don't like the sun and moon. So that's another thing. And that's when the eclipses occur, the lunar or solar eclipses, when they are with either Ketu or Rahu, north or south node of the moon. Now, there are other things that I wanted to tell you about, like obviously sun is exalted in Aries, which is the sign of me, myself, and I. That's it. King and I. And so it's exalted at 10 degrees there in Aries, debilitated at 10 degrees in Libra. I would probably say Sun does worse in Venus's signs. They're so difficult, and also Sun is difficult in Saturn signs too. If you have them, you realize that it's the nature of Sun is fiery. So therefore, whatever planet it's sitting with is going to be eclipse, is going to be agitated, because you know fully well that if you're in the heat of the day when the sun is out, or if you're trying to park your car when it's really sunny, it's very, very frustrating, very, very difficult. So that's how it feels, you know. So when you see in people's charts sun and moon situations, excuse me, well, sun with any planet, it's agitating that planet, even if they're not combust. And I would leave below all the kind of combustion degrees, etc., for you. But I mean, obviously, if it's it is difficult being with them. Mercury is a planet that Mercury and Venus are fast moving planets, so they do move with the sun, and so often you see them in the chart quite close to the sun. Whether it's in the same sign or a sign behind, sign in front, or sometimes even two signs. And so, but generally speaking, you know, sun agitates. So when it comes to the sun and the other planets, you want to see the degrees really. And the slower moving the planet is, the wider the sort of distance needs to be for it not to be combust. And obviously, if planets are retrograde in towards the sun, it's even more combustion going on there. So combustion is very difficult because what it does, it kind of burns away and purifies some of the indications of that planet. Excuse me, a car's alarm has gone off. And the other things, so sun obviously gets directional strength in the 10th house. That's where it works quite well. And probably the most, I think sun is better actually because it's ego attached as well. Sun is sometimes better when it's in the chart is not overly, well, you will know people who have got like exalted sun. They can be a little bit like, well, you know, you know, they kind of like, they are so self-aware, you know, so aware of their needs, they can just completely overlook other people. And it's all about their comfort, it's all about what they want. So if you're in a group of friends, you have somebody who has got an exalted sun, boy, do you know about it, you all know about it. It's just so crazy. So yeah, so sun and moon, so sun being the indicator of the father, and we're going to discuss moon today, but it's obviously, you know, you want to look at all planets and just see how it's going, but with the moon, because obviously it's the most important thing, I'm just going to do an extra video in the middle here so you know, because I want to just introduce lunar phases too to this. Anyway, let's just start. Before I go, actually, I just wanted to say something else about the sun and moon thing, because if sun and moon are together conjunct in a sign, in the D9, not so much in the D1, D9, because that kind of confirms everything and is a sign of like how we are with other people in relationships. If you got sun and moon conjunction in your D9, you're very new to relationships. So really just be aware that you're learning about relationships. And so don't get yourself, you know, like, don't be hard on yourself. This is what I'm trying to say, you know, and it's possible that you are going to go through some challenges in relationships because you really need to know your mind in order to be in a relationship in a positive way. And that comes with time, because none of us come out with an instruction book knowing what to do with it. So don't be hard on yourself. Okay, on to next video. Hello, this video is for the conjunction of Sun and Venus together. So obviously we just discussed all the things to do with the Sun. Most important of all is to remember that Sun is ego, confidence, and personality. It's a very romantic planet because it rules the 5th house of natural zodiac. So it's all about romance. And that is sitting with planet of relationships, love and sexuality, and just like romance, nice things. But they are enemies. That is the problem. Sun comes from the part of, you know, the group of planets that are so Mars, Sun, Jupiter, and Moon are friendly, and obviously Mercury is friendly with both, and also Venus is friendly with Mercury, the nodes, and Saturn. So you can see that it's probably better if they fall, because they're enemies to each other. It's better if this conjunction falls into Mercury sign of all the signs, because it just tends to just like cushion that a little bit more. And obviously Sun gets debilitated in Libra, and Venus feels overwhelmed in Leo. And they're different as well in many ways. They're just like their agenda is different. Sun is about self, and Venus is all about others. So their agenda is very different. So anyway, so what this very first thing I'm going to tell you, whoever has this in their chart, they are beautiful, because this gives absolute utter beauty. Normally see actresses, models, people like that having it, and there is a sense within them. There's a massive confidence. They know what they want, and that's it. They're very focused on their desires, and also they are very much into luxuries and the best of everything. So they are whereas Venus is quite compromising, Sun is not compromising. So this brings something in that is like for example, they could be the sort of people that they don't earn a lot of money, but they will have the best t-shirts, for example, best quality t-shirts. They really like refinement, and this is what I will say more than anything is all about refinement. They will have, even if they can't really afford it, they will eat less, but they eat quality. So there's not going to be any compromise in this. And this is the problem with this issue, because what happens when Sun is with any planet, eclipses, it puts this eclipse over them. And if they're obviously, they could also be combust, and Venus does about 10 degrees away from the Sun, works pretty well. But however, it's still eclipse. So bear that in mind. But Venus's relationships is harmony, love, marriage, working with others, beauty, arts, money, all the gems, jewelry, and family, femininity. All forms of luxury fall within Venus's command. How we form relationships, how we are with feminine females, how creative we are. It's the ability to see the beauty in everything is Venus. So Venus, that's strong, it's amazing. It's beautiful, it rules food, travel, fashion, vehicles. Venus is just so amazing. And so, yeah. So, and I have to tell you, if Venus is ahead of the Sun, it's a more gregarious. It's a little bit like the Moon. It's more outgoing, it's more independent, it's more freedom loving, it's more expressive. And behind the Sun, it can be a little bit like a bit more shy, a bit more like I'll give you another example. So when Venus is ahead of the Sun, the woman will have no issues going to a guy and saying, buy me a drink, or let them know that they are interested in them. But a Venus behind the Sun will be a little bit more shy, and that could be that's general anyway, so it doesn't necessarily, but we're talking about the conjunction today, but I would use that rule generally in life anyway. So it could be a house behind, house in front as well, that will apply. But anyway, today is just about conjunctions. These people also can be extremely lazy, and they love luxuries and indulgence of life. They're really indulgent, because Sun is the king. So it's very much like being at home and eating the grapes and being fanned, you know, that kind of thing. It is literally, it is like the king, and romance and love come into it. And so what happens is, sun, generally speaking, in our chart, sun, particularly if you're ruled by the sun, if sun is the planet that holds the highest degree in your chart, apart from the nodes, obviously they don't come into this. If it's your like Atmakaka planet, these people cannot live without love. They love, because sun rules heart, it rules the natural fifth house, so it's physical heart. They need to be in love, they need to, because that is the muscle that they control. So that is like, it's all about love. And obviously fifth house is children, so it's all about like progeny, you know, the genetic thing being sort of like activated. So, and Venus is semen as well. So yeah, so you got to, and also you got to see that sun, Venus, obviously the weaker the Venus is. So if Venus will be, both of them will do well, as I said earlier on, in Gemini, will be a good sign. In Virgo, Venus will be debilitated. In Libra, Sun will be debilitated. In the 10th house, Sun will have directional strength. In Venus works better in the 4th house, so the opposite. So this is very, very interesting now. So okay, these people can be non-compromising, because and particularly if Sun is very strong, if there are, Sun is strong, is exalted, or is in Leo, or in a friendly sign, which is like signs of Jupiter. When Sun is strong, they're non-compromising. It is their way or highway in a relationship. So if you get into a relationship, particularly in the skies right now, Sun and Venus are in the sky, and so whoever we are with, and this is how they form their relationships as well. I normally say to people, when the Sun and Venus are together in a sign, it's not a good time to really go on dates, if you like, because who you feel you're with is not really the true person, because Sun is eclipsed in Venus. And so the person that you think you've met and everything, it's not really the person that they will reveal themselves eventually when you get to know them. So it's really, you got to get to know the person. So don't give your heart up too quickly. Be careful, work on it. But this is also Sun Venus means that they get into relationships really quickly, but they also get out of relationship very quickly, because they're learning about relationship. Because ego is getting in the way, because ego is saying, because Sun wants to have its own way, Venus is prepared to compromise. So Sun will get them into relationships and then suddenly think, oh, but they didn't do this the way that I want, and they come out of it. And often, unless if you come from Eastern cultures, where, you know, you find more like somebody could have some Venus and they've been married forever, you know, they'll be their childhood sweethearts and they're working out. But in the West, generally speaking, if you have some Venus, you will, you can get into relationships and get out really quickly. You can be non-compromising. You could just be very much like want the relationship be the way that you want it to be. So there's a lot of things about a relationship that one needs to learn. So they have to really work on getting Venus strong, particularly if Venus is combust, is in Leo, or it's debilitated in Virgo, or even if it's in, you know, signs of sign of Moon and signs of Jupiter as well, because they're unfriendly towards Venus. So this will mean that they are learning about things to do with relationship, because they have to in a relationship, you have to put your ego aside and actually work things together, because you are together, you know. So, and in Virgo, it could be, or in the 6th house, because Venus will still feel debilitated in the 6th house. They could be very critical of their partner, of the tiniest little thing, you know. And so yeah, you've got to bear that in mind. And yeah, so these are the things that I wanted to say. But obviously, I would probably say there's a lot of refinement in this. They really enjoy the beautiful art in their homes. Homes will be amazing. cars, everything. They just like labels, very high quality stuff, high end, where they eat, how they drink, all of that has got to be pristine. A man who has this can really want to, woo the lady, so they will take them to the best restaurants. They book ahead of time. They will plan it ahead, but they'll be non-compromising. So there is no give and take. So they need to learn to do this. Do this really well. You need to work on that sort of thing. Because there's just too much dazzling about like having the luxury of life, having money, having the nice house, nice car, and everything. But you got to get the substance of the relationship right. And substance of relationship is mainly that we will work through this together. So, but yeah, it is quite amazing. Now, if Venus is less than 1 degree of the sun, 1 degree or less of within from the sun, what will happen? It will create cazimi. So that will be really good for money. It will not be necessarily good for relationships, but it will be definitely very good for money. So that's although it burns everything to do with Venus, however, assets and things like that will be very good. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you. I'm going to do the video for the ascendants now. Thank you.